What if the bombastic bully who turned ICE into his personal Gestapo against criminal aliens and bragged about the largest deportation operation in history suddenly watched his mass roundup machine mow down his own playbook in a purple patch of deep red Tennessee, where Democratic powerhouse Afton Lane, Green Beret veteran, Girl Scout at heart, and unapologetic fighter against the fascist farce, is charging toward a special election upset in the 7th Congressional District that could flip the script on his America First fever dream? Imagine Donald J. Trump, the 79-year-old stable genius whose cognitive creases are carving canyons deeper than his deficits, reduced to a raging relic whose Sunday spiral on Truth Social devolves into death threats against Democratic lawmakers. Hang him high if they indict me. Prompting Mark Kelly to retort, loyalty to the Constitution is now punishable by death, as his revenge tour implodes with Comey and James cases cratering in court, exposing a DOJ so debased it's less Department of Justice and more Department of Just Vendettas. And here's the satirical sledgehammer that should send every MAGA minion into a meltdown of their own making. As Trump golfs with Jack Nicklaus in his bizarre sweater vest spectacle, looking like a discount Don Draper raiding Barron's closet, his golden age gospel gurgles down the drain of 3% inflation spikes, 40% turkey price jumps, and a G20 boycott so blatant the G19 declares multilateralism delivers, without his disruptive diaper drama, proving the emperor's not just naked, he's unraveling. A dementia-dripping despot whose threats of hanging Dems only hasten his own hanging by the noose of his neurological nonsense. With Lane's lane to victory in Tennessee's 7th, a seismic shift that signals the suburban surge against his suburban sabotage. America, this isn't a presidency. It's a prolonged psychotic sideshow, a Sunday spiral where the strongman shtick snaps like a brittle bone, leaving a party in paranoid pieces and a nation navigating the nightmare of nukes in noodle arms. Time to talk about the decline that's not just destroying Trump, but endangering us all. From Comey's courtroom coup to Bondi's botched breakdown, and a Brazilian jailbird who just got a presidential pardon via phone line, all while Lane's leadership lights the way to a 2026 landslide. The Clarksville confab on November 25, 2025, at the Black Forest Bar, a dimly lit dive near Fort Campbell, where the air hangs heavy with the scent of Tennessee whiskey and the ghosts of Green Berets past, was less a campaign stop and more a clarion call for the Crimson Heartland's quiet rebellion, where Afton Lane, the unyielding U.S. Army veteran with a Silver Star from Afghanistan and a spine forged in Special Forces fire, sipped her Jack Daniels neat and dissected the dystopia Donald Trump's. Deportation delirium has dragged her district into like a bad dream scripted by Kafka on a bender. There she sat, sleeves rolled up on her crisp white shirt, the bar's neon glow casting shadows that danced like the doubts Trump's tantrums have sown across the 7th. A sprawling swath of suburban sprawl from Clarksville's military maze to Franklin's faux rustic facades, a Republican redoubt Trump torched by 22 points in 2024. Now teetering on the teetering edge of upset in the December 2nd special election to replace Mark Green, the corporate castoff who cashed his congressional check for a cushy private sector sinecure after voting for Trump's big, ugly bill in July. Lane's voice, steady as a sniper's scope, cut through the clink of glasses. This race is a harbinger for 2026. If we get within 3 points or flip it, it'll dramatically shift the map in Democrats' favor. Harbinger? Hell, it's a hurricane warning, a Category 5 cyclone of suburban scorn that's already swept Virginia and New Jersey blue in off-year awful, where Abigail Spanberger steamrolled the GOP by 14 points, up from Biden's 6-point squeak, and Mikey Sherrill surged 12 from Harris's 4, shattering Republican supermajorities in Mississippi and California, while Cyprus, Texas, flipped 3 seats to end conservative control, voters vomiting the culture war bile that's been bubbling in classrooms like bad cafeteria slop. Lane's lane to victory is paved with the potholes of Trump's own paving, a deportation derby that's devolved into despotic dragnets, where ICE's iron fist clenches not just criminals, but compliant contributors like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, Maryland husband, U.S. citizen father of three, sheet metal apprentice shielded by a 2019 withholding order until Trump's tantrum tore him, to El Salvador's Secote torture tank in March, 7 months of mega-prison misery amid 200 alleged Tren de Aragua terrorists, only yanked back in June after a 9-0 Supreme midnight mandate, and a Tennessee trumped-up trafficking trap as vindictive prosecution, payback for suing his saviors. Zeniz's Greenbelt gavel. A gory gutting of the government's zero credibility witnesses. ICE's John Cantu crumbling under cross-ex like a cookie in coffee. No knowledge of Costa Rica's open arms or Liberia's punitive ping-pong. Her no final order, fiat a Fifth Amendment fortress that fortifies Garcia's freedom. The administrative abyss swallowing deportation dreams as procedural potholes pothole the path to Liberia's limbo. Trump's largest operation ever. A laughable legacy of lawlessness. For 100,000 kids culled from continuous coverage. Maternal mortality spiking for black women triple white rates. Reproductive rights rubble from his Roberts robed rogues. All while Lane laments Tennessee's 60% healthcare facilities without maternal care. Highest maternal mortality in country. Kids sleeping on DCS floors out of state. Parents clueless. Satirical sting. The Bone Spur brave who dodged Vietnam now drafts deportation death marches. His America First, a first in line for families fractured. Garcia's saga, a sordid sequel to family separation scars. Emotional elegy, not legalese, laceration. Father's freedom filched fleeing MS. 13. Brood bereft bureaucrats bicker banishment backwaters. Vasquez Sura's vigil Greenbelt gates poignant people's pain. Vivid vignette. Black Forest's bourbon haze. Lane's eyes steal as she recounts Mount Olive's 1,300 black infantrymen graves. Enslaved to Union-colored troops. Leaf blower weekly on Golden Ginkgo. Teary tribute to Tennessee's tormented. Trump's strong borders, a strong arm's stranglehold on sovereignty. The rot radiates Richmond's revenge route. Halligan's hasty hire EDVA enforcer. Virginia vassal vaulted vendetta vanguard. Enemies Comey. Canned Russia rummage. James, indicting issue. Prosecutorial pins pulled procedural perversions profane fifth. Fitzpatrick's 11 Infernos. Lone FBI lead marinating attorney-client marinade. Halligan's hallucinogenic homilies burden fifth. Miranda Mirage MAGA mist. Procession procedural profanities profane Potemkin. 12th Pestilence. Thou shalt summon indictments secretarial scissors. Thunders Thor's hammer. Frontier fiat flaring. Uncharted territory. Indictment signed never presented. Territory no court mapped. Negligence. Nihilism. Constitutional cut-rate cataclysm People's Palisade potentates prosecutors Plato. Halligan hatchet-happy hack tit-for-tat theater. Comey's November 22nd motion maroon monstrosity. FRCP 12. B. 5th Grand Jury Grail. Rule 6 Veiled Vault. Requiem Retribution. Razor raises ruse radix. Grand Jury never approved operative. 12 jurors not concur. Government's attempt prosecute without valid indictment violates 5th. Dismissal prejudice. Decree stacking straightest statutory slaughter. 4th fouls filching files. Privilege punctures poisoning pool. Halligan's serious misstatements law. Gaslighting gallery guilt's grip. Grave doubt, determination dodged misconduct's miasma. Gospel. Standalone sacking sins. Sunday. Government's correction codex. Couplet casuistry culpiting foreperson. Lay lamb laws lion. Felony flimflam. Exacerbates execration. Sly sophistry swearing. Sworn testimony establishes grand jury voted 2 count. Transcript trumpets tabula rasa. No session. Summons. Sacred 12. Nachmanoff won't nibble. Fitzpatrick's frontier flare-up flays flamethrower. Judge Leonie Brinkema's disqualification dockets. Halligan's interim illegitimacy, Senate sidestepping swindle. Loom Lady Justice's ledger lancet's lip. Harry Littman, ex-U.S. attorney main DOJ maestro talking Feds Trinity. YouTube, podcast, Substack. Flynn's Trump's legal Leviathan forensic finesse, filleting fire. Littman, Courtroom Courier DC Richmond, beheld Bedlam. 85% solid vindictive prosecution. Issue ignited. Nachmanoff nabbing Halligan podium. Fessed up. Rejected 3-count. Lopped 1. Renumbered. Xeroxed. 4-person flurry 7 minutes. No grand jury gaze. Gallery gawked. Geologic gasp gobsmacked gazers. Flub flowered. No new conclave. 12-juror quorum. Desk drawer diktat defying Rule 6 red light runner rally. Lippman's Lansing? Single worst thing Department Justice ever done. Flabbergasting. Correction? Contumely con. 4-person fall guy felony folly. Memos mendacity monument missing mark. Operative indictment orphaned oversight. Enterprise empty envelope executive excess. Irony venomous vortex. Vortexing trumps. Revenge. Reverie abysm. Boss bounced Comey disloyalty drips. Now drips legal ledger domain. DOJ demeaned desk job decree grand juries gamed golf grips. Halligan, handmaiden Harry adversaries Comey, canned Russia rummage. James, indicting issue. Nuzzles disqualification deliverance. Bar license bloodletting damned. Bondi, AG alchemist ratifying rubbish rescue. Ratchet's requital. Stand behind this. Scrolls co-conspiracy constitutional crucifixion. Trump's thumbprint? Smeared Sharpie. Cases cradle oval obsessions. Halligan's hit higher. Bondi's backstop benedictions. Emotional elegy. Farce Fisher's faith. Republic's ribs riven retaliatory ribs Comey. Straight arrow sentinel stared Trump's tantrums. Bogey bravery. 4-person's frantic flourish. Mockery 23 citizens civic sacrament. Nixed 3-count clarion 2-count trickery. Fitzpatrick's 11 flaws fester untreated ulcers. Tainted testimony treading privilege poison. Halligan's hallucinogenic homilies burden 5th. Miranda mirage maga mist. Procedural perversions parading process. Correction. Contempt cascade. Culputting bystander blizzard. Memos mendacity monument missing mark. Operative indictment orphaned oversight. Enterprise empty envelope executive excess. Vivid vignette. Richmond's federal fortress. Air acrid anxiety Halligan hems lectern. Nachmanoff's gaze guillotine gleam. Lippman ledgering last rites Trump's retribution roadshow. Grand jury phantoms. Virginians volunteered vigilance. Haunt hearing. Nixed 3-count clarion 2-count trickery. Trump's specter stalk shadows. Lock him up. Litany's laughingstock locks loose in Comey's liberation. Rot radiates. Trump's DOJ dagger despotism. Halligan hilt. Bondi hand. Grand jury gutted guardian. Vindictive? Vindicated vendettas vain. Oval tweets interim install. Disqualification? Destiny, Senate sidestep sham. Dismissal prejudice? Dogma, Fifth's fortress fortified Fitzpatrick's frontier. Barbarbs. Brewing, Halligan's license lit fuse. Bondi's benedictions? Boomerang, AG Aegis armor arrows accountability. Satirical supreme. Law lord, lawyered 91 felonies fog now fogs felonies form. Cut and paste cabal conjuring charges clerical chaos. Deep state, delirium dines devotees, Halligan hors d'oeuvre banquet bungle. Tide turns. 2026 midterms mobilize masses. Democrats 9-point turnout torrent Trump's tyranny. Grand jury grievance endures. Justice deferred devours defer.